Hello there everyone and welcome back. I am not really happy with how much I messed up it seemed like with the last video, especially since I never did bother to check the in-game audio. I was so concerned after trying to fix all the issues I was having there that I only checked my voice audio there and never bothered to check the in-game audio if it was recorded or not. So that was a bit of a blunder, that was a bit of a mistake, and it probably hindered the video as a result, if only slightly, with the lack of the voice audio, the actual in-game sounds, but I did manage to at least put some of the background music in, so it wasn't a complete failure, but I still apologize for that regardless. And hopefully, as I try and figure things out, hopefully maybe the videos will be a better quality. I'm hoping the audio is a little bit louder. It seems a lot more muted for me for whatever reason, so it's a bit of a weird experience trying to get through this transition, but my Voidstalker finally got its favor in. It remains to be seen if the Sam hand favor was the better choice. It feels like it can be, or it feels like it was, since I used the Auroras with it almost exclusively, and since I am doing a lot of diving, aggressive plays, it does negate the possibility of a micro warp jump for an extended period. Or hell, if I want to chain them together, I can get multiple pulsar runs in easily before the effects wear off and both my abilities are on cooldown, or I can use them at two different occasions. And of course, let's not talk about the potential of just being hidden through silent running there, because the Phantom Disruption does allow me to jam them well before I get within normal sensor range. Although, if I suspect beacons, that won't really matter so much, but it forces them to burn the beacons preemptively just to spot me, so there's at least still some value there, especially if the Voidstalkers don't want the beacon, because I sure as hell don't want my Eclipses, my Shadows, or any of my smaller ships to get the beacons on them and leave them vulnerable to getting sniped. So we'll see how this plays out, we'll see how this goes, and I really do want to invest my renown to increase the duration of my orders some here. If not just to get the extended range on the star cannons, that's also a possibility, that's probably more practical, but I want to save up my renown again, because we are really vulnerable to not being able to repair my ships as things go horribly wrong with the next battle, so we will see what happens. Well, I think we know how it's going to go. If we're going to fight Calante again, it's an opportunity for me to build up my renown, I suppose, if nothing else, but we'll see how this goes. I'm not going to field the Voidstalker. We'll try and make this a little more interesting there, although I also can see this as an opportunity to build up my experience with my Shadows, but since this is assassination, this might not go very well, especially if I want to go with two Eclipses. So can I try something a little bit different here? I was going to suggest maybe going with two Shadows and two Auroras, but this is a little bit awkward, just a little bit. It is an assassination though, so he has vision, he'll have lances, I do have the health points, and really I want the Shadow just to get his experience in, if nothing else. But as far as a working strategy, I don't know if I like this. The Auroras at the very least can scare him back, make him hesitate. That's kind of what I'm going to try and do with him there, while the Eclipse plays a little more safer. It's going to be hard for it to contribute in terms of damage, mind you, but with a Shadow to back it up and shoot down the fighters, this may not be a terrible strategy. I'm just going to be very light on my actual aggressive force there. We'll have to see how this plays out. It is an assassination, so I am kind of a bit on the defensive, but at the same time, it's not like data recovery where I'm going to be put in an awkward position of having to be very reactionary with the easy access of boarding me, just straight up boarding me and stealing the data. So at least I could be a little more focused here, if only slightly. Still begs the question, how do I want to do this? I think I want the Auroras to stay hidden. I'm going to have them void blend first, and that will give them the freedom to kind of move on up, and everything else is kind of on group 1, I guess. Well, actually, let's put the Eclipse on group 1, these two will be group 3. And I would like, I'm messing up the hotkeys there, I was thinking my Auroras were group 3 for whatever reason, so let's get this going. We have them hidden, the Eclipse is spotted, but I do have fighters. And now I would like to try... he's all fighters. This is amusing. Someone clearly is relying on the strategy of just relying on the vision, I guess, to kill me. Unless it's like a Stig. What are we looking at? At least 8 bomber squadrons, so I can just avoid them easily. These bombers are not really scary. I just don't have the convenience of solid rank to immediately make this difficult for them.
Yes, come on.
But the Shadow has vision. I could jam him effectively as far as like force him to burn beacons on like was it on the Shadow and the Hellborn itself, but let's be smart with how we do this. Because I'm waiting for him to boost up and get aggressive. Try to anyway. He did burn a beacon on that, so I'm kind of okay with it. Because it just means I can fire bombers, at least to start whittling down his fighters some. Hellborn spot, but at the end of the day, I don't really care so much about that. And of course, this is a bad idea. Let's see, bombers. Okay, bombers are coming after me, so we can fix this easily enough. I do still have fighters, and I was detected because jamming wore off. That's not kind of okay. I want him to kind of commit, and my Salt Run's about to expire too, so not very exciting alas, but we do have torpedoes, and this is going to force him to re-maneuver, and of course, going the wrong way there. Come on. You know you want to get aggressive. That thing might just... The Maelstrom might just kill that frigate if I'm so lucky. It's close, but not quite. That's where a second Maelstrom comes in. Now, he is firing lances on me there. I need to get sensors. I do have a Hellborn for that, though, so let's give it some vision. Keep firing your lances for all I care. Now, another beacon's down. We'll get ready to start hitting and maybe firing our Maelstrom, but do I have jamming up? I do. Unfortunately, he did supercharge just as I was doing my lance fire, so that's a little unfortunate. But can we keep on moving? We could still do a lot of damage. I do have torpedoes still. Oh, I hit myself with the torpedoes. That was blunder. I was hoping the Maelstrom, and wasn't meant to be. Now, Maelstrom. Let's see. Get moving. We could still do the damage here. We could start killing off these bombers, because these things really don't have a lot of damage potential due to his reliance on bombers. I just gotta be good about denying the bombers hitting me. Now, let's kill off this ship here. Let's deny his bombers. And get ready to get the hell right on through. Because this is going to be really awkward in a moment. So go on in there, kill his level 9. Get the hell out. And then we'll get ready to we'll warp jump out as soon as we can. And those torpedoes might seal the deal if I'm so lucky. I want to make sure this thing is safe before I warp it out though, because yeah, my control's really bad, but we did kill, like, I'm hoping it was one of his bigger ships, the Stig. So get on turning. I know my controls are a little bit bad here, but we do have torpedoes still. Now, bombers, get on out. Mike warp on out. And we are going to take some bomber hits, but these things are going to live. They're not quite going to be heavily damaged. Although that might change in a moment here, but we're looking safe, we're looking clear. That was an awkward situation without a doubt. I feel like I should have been more aggressive with the Auroras. I could have boosted in to make sure they were on top of his fleet early on, because that one gas cloud was a bit out of the way. Let's not kid ourselves, but the bombers didn't quite do the damage they need to. Even if I wasn't really maximizing my potential to dodge them, because Salt Run, of course, is like the simplest way to kind of counteract heavy bombers. It just is. You won't have much options to do it after, or deny the bombers after it falls off for like a good minute or so. So it's a good way to start minimizing the damage, which leaves an amazing window to do damage in that period. But having my ships behind my other ones, having the Shadow, of course, in good positions to allow my fighters to kind of shoot down his is also good, and of course the point defense of all the other support ships, which is why this seems really awkward. Never mind the fact Eldar are kind of constantly moving, so it's hard to have my ships protect each other, at least consistently without hindering their own firepower as well, as we've seen plenty of times when I try and do my attack runs there. My ships are easily denying each other their shots there, with the fact that the pulsars won't autocast if one of my ships are in the way, the fact that if they're like, what is it, about 1,000 units away from each other, it completely throws off their heading as the AI is automatically trying to avoid my own ships there. It is really weird. So it can be tricky and even punishing for me to try and keep my fleet all together, which is going to be the hard part with bombers, but if I can just fly away, a Wraith Bone shift is amazing for a single ship to maximize its point defense, because I wait until the last second, they jump on, just before they reach my cruiser, I boost on out, and then my point defense basically recharges by the time to get to me again, if I don't actually get like multiple attacks in just from flying away from them, since my ships are so mobile, even without the convenience of, all ahead full order. So they could do a lot to blunt the damage of the bombers regardless. So we do have another level 6 finally, so these things are starting to get kitted out in where they can start doing some harassing chipping damage, if nothing else. And this level 5 is what? Ooh, I also got a level 7, I didn't realize that. No upgrades alas, but it maxes out the Warlock, so I get maximum critical hit potential out of my pulsars, but what's the critical hit chance? I don't think it's updated yet. It should be around 13%, mind you. That's the idea, but until I like log out or relog back in or have another battle, I don't think this will update. It might update for the actual battle itself, so I may have to keep an eye on that. But I really don't think anyone else has got fully upgraded Warlocks just yet. Nope, I decided to choose the Bone Singers first for the Auroras, because they only got 400 health, so being able to repair, was it 139 health roughly, is pretty useful. I think it's what, an additional 45 health with this fully upgrade? Oh no, it's just slightly under that, because the repair is 45 seconds, so it's more like about a little bit around 40 extra health, so it's still useful though. I'm basically repairing a third of my health instead of a quarter of it with the Bone Singers fully upgrades, so it's still damn useful for the Auroras. But until they're level 10, they're not going to get their maximum damage potential with the Pulsars just yet. And it still remains to be seen what I want for the 5th upgrade, because I don't think I'm going to be using lock-on very often to utilize this, because reload, more often than not, is probably better, because it makes my Wraithbone shift faster, it makes my falls maneuver faster, so not only would it enhance my damage, it also enhances my survivability. So it's a double bonus there, which makes me maybe want to enhance reload some. Get the extended duration on the void blending as well as reload when staying hidden is not really effective, mainly because of beacons or maybe Widowmakers in a realistic sense. We'll see. Well, we're going to be fighting the Taurus god. The god of all turtles, I guess it were. So he must be incredibly resilient, so maybe he won't die immediately if I'm so lucky. We'll see how this goes. I think I'll avoid using the Voidstalker because that thing has been pretty brutal, and just to note, I did have a mission between the first one, was it my Chaos match, and this one, but it was too heartbreaking. The poor person was like only level 4 like Tau fleet. Well, it wasn't Admiral level 4, but all the ships were like level 4, and then he had a Kroot War Spear that was getting massacred, so I decided not to show that. He did warp out after losing his Protector, at least, so his fleet was preserved, but it would have just dragged on. It probably wouldn't have been very exciting, but let's try and get this going. That's also the reason why my Auroras, 2 of my Auroras made level 9 too, because of that match, so I guess we'll stick with the try and true there. We'll try and get some effective torpedoes in. I might attempt to get a little more aggressive, a little more closer, because if I can get comfortable with that, that will help a lot with making good use out of my torpedoes, because the closer I can get, the better, in all honesty, just so long as I'm not so close that he can conveniently get into the minimum range before they do damage. I don't think I want to be that close, but without a doubt, if I'm going to be fighting someone who's going to be capable of dodging torpedoes, closer is definitely better. So I just need to keep in mind his macro cannons. That would be a big trick, so that way I'm not conveniently shot at in point blank range. I kind of need to be aware of his timing for that to really work. If I want to do that safely, or be on his prowl when his torpedoes or Nova cannons are on cooldown. And come to think of it, of course he may have Nova cannons. That's a big scare too, but that's kind of what the Eclipses are for a little bit. They can soak the damage relatively well, and with some good solid runnings I could do well. Oh, we do have a bit latency though, so I'm hoping that doesn't hinder me too much. I'm really hoping. The latency is like the worst thing is like the greatest weakness of Eldar. It's gonna ruin my micromanagement so much. But let's solid run these ships there, get them moving. Actually, let's group these up a little bit better. I won't worry about hiding my Eclipses just yet, because I kind of want them to serve as bait, and the assault runs more for, if possible, just to avoid getting shot at consistently if he doesn't stick a beacon on me. I just gotta remember when trying to assault run is pointless and get full value out of my reload. That would be the main thing, if I can remember to do that. But that beacon's an easy dodge. I could fire torpedoes because he does have a gas cloud. Let's try and make him dance and maneuver a little bit. Shouldn't be. I don't think it's going to do too much damage, but these are still serious torpedoes with their ability to just brute force their way to the target. And at least they'll give me some vision to know where he's at. And I haven't seen any Nova cannons just yet, so... Well, let's see. There's torpedoes right there. We know he has a retribution. We know he's fired all the torpedoes here. Now, let's try and get some hits in. We gotta make sure we're focus firing really well though, because I don't quite have the sensor reach I want. Let's see. Actually, let's try and remember not to group these up too close. So fire. That wasn't what I wanted. Hopefully I didn't get hit by the torpedoes very well, but... Do I have more torpedoes? I do. Now keep on moving. This is going to be weird because my torpedoes are more going to hit the cruiser, not really the battleship very well. And there's an amazing amount of macro batteries. That's kind of the reason why I have to make sure I time my attack very well. Because otherwise that's going to happen. It's going to hurt like hell. So, more damage being done to my Aurora, but they're going to lose their assault run in a moment. And we got this thing in a stasis bubble, so that's going to hurt like hell. Now, these two are just going to hide for a bit. We're going to make sure Auger Disruptor is available. I don't think they actually jammed the micro warp jump. Not that it matters. We still have 60 seconds till it comes back. He's even... Well, not really 60 seconds, but... We have a few seconds. We still have like about 40 seconds before he can even do anything about it. So get going. Get these ready to attack. Fire more pulsars. We'll get the reload going there. And I just fire. That thing is dead. Without much of a doubt there, but make sure I don't run into the minefield. That's going to be a bit scary thing here. Ooh, that was close. That was some goddamn close, and I almost ran. I think I almost ran myself there. Now, can I... Well, I'm not going to be able to hit this thing very hard, but my pulsars are being rebelling again, aren't they? Okay, so I am losing a little bit of control here. I did lose my frigate, which is a big deal. Now, we got Maelstrom here. This unfortunately is going to hurt. But we do have fire assaults still. And of course my pulsar got ruined there because I saw it already fired because I wasn't seeing the shots going. Now, get moving. My boosters aren't really triggering, so that's a bit of a shame. 2 cruisers are down here. Now, keep on moving. Yeah, I'm messing up the controls horribly here, but We did deal with 2 of his cruisers, and we are flying away from the last one that's actually micro-warp jumping, so that's not very scary just yet. And also, I can also maneuver and dodge these relatively well. Now, the Gothic is not really a threat, though, so I kind of want to avoid hitting it if at all possible, but I don't think that's likely, with it conveniently being in my way. So, get going in there. This is convenient torpedo shot. I almost hit myself, mind you, but we are getting some hits in. Just gotta be careful of my dang. Making sure. What? I'm losing my train of thought again, damn it. This is intense there. We having a real match on our hands, and I think that thing is pretty much dead otherwise. It's looking dead because my warp jump's bent, its shields are gone, and my clips might have gotten hit there. Alright. Maybe I can stop panicking now and get focused, because, wow. I wasn't intending to do the critical hits I did onto the Gothic, but apparently my boardings was really damn effective. Yeah, I feel like I messed up and panicked a little bit there, but thankfully it worked to my benefit, and that's going to hit the debris, isn't it? Oop. Conveniently that was not true, but damn, that debris really can throw me off some, because that looked like it actually would have been hit. It would have hit the debris there conveniently. But let's get moving. Uh-oh. That was close. That could have ended up for the death of my Aurora, but at the end of the day I lost, what, just a single Aurora in that match? Not my proudest moment, but it must have... At least it was effective, mind you. Because he was putting some serious effort trying to ram me, get aggressive, but I guess he underestimates the torpedoes or didn't take them all that seriously. Because realistically, if he's capable of dodging torpedoes, I can just use them to kind of force him to not engage me so aggressively. And oh god, what a hilarious headpiece the cruiser had for a brief 20 seconds when it impaled my poor Eclipse in the ass. That is an interesting display. That was it. It was a Tyrant, was it, or was it an Overlord? I honestly can't remember. I'm assuming it was a Tyrant because he wouldn't have been able to field like 3 cruisers with a Retribution. But that was a hilarious moment, and thankfully I didn't take a whole lot of damage on that Eclipse there at the same time. So even if he gets a ram, if I'm making sure I'm moving away from him, the damage is pretty minimal, and because I wasn't even using my brace for impact to try and mitigate that damage. I don't know how much damage exactly it took, mind you, but I did mess up at the beginning really heavily there, because those Auroras took some amazing damage because I was flying directly at them. I wasn't even paying attention to the Aurora because a false maneuver would have easily allowed me to dodge those shots there, or even just strafing, going sideways there and waiting for those shots, kind of like how I hinted early on before doing my attack run. That's kind of why I can't just blindly fly in there, because that Aurora was almost proof of that. It didn't quite die, mind you, so it did the damage it needed to, which was killing something three times its size, so it still paid off ultimately, but it's my only level 8 Aurora that got no experience as a result, which I'm still a little bit sad about. But we're making good experience progress on this fleet, if nothing else. And that, despite me going a little bit into panic mode there, I won't lie, it felt like it was a pretty solid match overall. Maybe my control was really bad, honestly, but it still seemed like a solid win, and my opponent seemed like he knew what he was doing to an extent. I don't think I saw any supercharged void shields though, so that made my job easy. Well, looks like we're going to be fighting a lower level version of Calante here, although I will be more generous this time. I will go lighter. I won't bring in the Voidstalker, as tempting as it might seem to bring in my biggest gun, but if he doesn't know how to dodge the torpedoes, he's still probably going to be pretty screwed. Let's not kid ourselves. So I think what I need to have, without a doubt, is a Shadow, some kind of deal with the possibility of being overwhelmed by Seeker missiles, and this is pretty straightforward, isn't it? 2 Auroras and a Shadow, and he's going to have, what, maybe 500 points? Maybe a little bit more than that? I can't quite recall how the points line up there. In all seriousness, I would love to have some Hellborn, because the points line up for that too, and they have the extended sensors. That's the main reason I want to bring them there. Is it a good idea? Probably not, because of how easily they can die. But I am going to have to experiment with that some, aren't I? Although, the lack of extended sensors, the extended vision is going to be felt, but I can at least deal with his bombers relatively well. I can deal with his seeker missiles decently. I just need to be true with the control on the Auroras, because they're going to be dumbfiring quite a bit, I imagine, without some reliable means to see my target and be able to prioritize them effectively. Especially with Tau, since almost all their ships there basically go 150 speed. Even their light cruisers and most of their frigates go 150. As my android starts beeping on me. I'm not sure why it is, damn it. We're doing serious commentary here, you damn phone. Nonetheless, this might be brutal for me, and it looks like he's either going with the frigate swarm or he has a handful of Dalos and Borkons, which are the ones with the gravitic hooks. We'll see. Nonetheless, I am confident in my ability just to torpedo him. We'll see if he actually can dodge them, or if he even attempts to dodge them, but since we're dealing with a frigate swarm, I think my strategy might change a tiny bit here, and I might try and spread out the damage a bit. And by spread out the damage, I mean have both my Auroras hit 2 separate frigates, so that way I can get maximum value out of my Maelstrom, ideally. That's the intention, and that's kind of the hope. I may not even attempt the assault run, mind you. We'll see what happens. It looks like one of the ships is being isolated from the others. So I'm going to assume that's one of his cruisers there, so you know I'm going to have fun with just sniping that thing immediately. Although, I do want to be, I want to at least give his ships a chance to survive there. We'll see what happens, although he is isolating them, so we'll see how this goes for him. Now, let's get in close. Maybe he won't see us coming. I'll try to seriously not kill the ship immediately, assuming it is a cruiser. But we have the means. And he does have extended sensors, which isn't really a big deal for me, but it is a Castellan, though. So, your brace for impact is going to do crap. I'm sorry, this is going to be brutal. So, that was a bad idea there, but I can boost on out. I have bombers being launched. I don't know if the Castellan's going to die just yet, but once he... Let's see, that should be very much dead. So that's 2 down already. He went heavy frigate swarm. I think we can safely say that much. And of course, the fact that he's boosting while still solid running is not really helping him, doing him a whole lot of favors, is it now? Now, let's kill this off. That Maelstrom should be enough to just kill that Castellan immediately. And we'll try and kill off this next one once my cooldowns are back up. And I'm going to assume he ran away with the cruiser. Okay, when our Castellan's gone, we're going to have fighters up in a moment, so I can deal with these easily enough. Oh, my fighters were out of... I thought my fighters were dead for whatever reason, so that was probably a bit of a waste of a reload in that case. Or of a resupply of them anyway. So, let's try and kill this Castellan, because he is conveniently turned into it. Now, dodge these torpedoes. Although, wasted pulsars, that's a shame. That is a shame there. Come on, you have all the time in the world. Come on, dodge those torpedoes, I dare ya. Put some real effort into it for a change. Nope, not meant to be, I guess. He's just trying to stall us out or something there. If I had to predict what was going on. But, we are down to 3 Castellans and I imagine 1 cruiser. Now, this may be a mistake because I don't have an Auger Disruptor. Oh, he's coming after my shadow anyway, so that's not a big deal just yet. This is gonna hurt some. This may be where things go wrong if I'm not careful. But everything boosts on out. I do have repairs going, right? Yep. And I have bombers coming up to deal with this 1 Castellan if needed. Do I even want to kill that 1 Castellan? Because it's already crippled and my Auroras can kind of do that for me. So let's boost on out. Let's spread these ships a bit. So that way maybe I can get a good torpedo run in. And is that thing dead? Yeah, it's heavily damaged and it hasn't got repairs in. So it is dead, without a doubt. Now, just keep this thing moving. ideally, we'll get our focus going so we can attack this Castellan properly. I'm hoping this thing dies quickly. That's what I would like. Because I shouldn't have to worry about that one Castellan there, right? Although my Star Cannon seems to be doing crap for damage. Or, oh, his shield's probably just recharged. That might be why. That might explain that there, but... both have no maelstroms available. This would be a good opportunity to actually take advantage of that, mind you, but... this is working out well. The frigate swarm's being denied so early, and I think he might be warping out of his cruiser right now. Hard to say. And even though he had like a lot of railguns, and the secret missiles were mostly an annoyance because I was prepared for that with the Shadow, but this seems like it was not all that intimidating. But again, he had 150 speed as opposed to what most frigates can go. It's only what? The Orcs that I think are the only other frigates that actually go 150, so that benefited me nicely in. A little underwhelming, I won't lie, because normally a frigate swarm would be pretty good, especially ones that have a lot of like turret weaponry that you can abuse. If they were like fixed to the prow, like the prow lances, the orc prow guns and all that, then that would be a different story completely, because then I can abuse flanking a little bit better that way, especially if he's chasing after a specific target. It's hard to really say. I only know my frigate swarms have been going well, but the reason I picked my frigate swarms is because they're more mobile. Because, with like I said before, the Tau frigates are like practically the slowest frigates in the game there with the 150 speed, so they are going to have an incredibly hard time to chase me down, but you can see how awkward it is for my Auroras at least trying to get an attack run in, so there is value with him if he can spot me and keep reliable vision. And his secret missiles, they seem like they did almost nothing, let's not kid ourselves. The Shadow was perfect for that role as far as denying secret missiles, especially since he decided to send those damn secret missiles after my Shadow, it seems like, and not so much the Auroras. Aside for early on with the autocast, I think it was, so... that felt pretty flawless, a really underwhelming match. All in all, I won't lie about that, but... seems like that was damn decisive for me. For something that should have been scary otherwise. You would think. Well, I want to make a Simpsons joke about his name, but it's pretty self-explanatory. We are fighting another Imperial Navy battle. This is 600 points, so I'm left wondering if he's an Admiral level 8 fleet or not. It's really hard to say. It could be Admiral level 6 or 5. Or enough. It could... maybe it's Admiral level 5. I can't remember when Admiral level they have to be before they get access to 600 point breakthrough. But nonetheless, I am going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm not going to abuse the power and range of the Voidstalker there. Not to mention the fact I don't really care about the bomber so much. I will probably need eclipses in case he is going Novacan, so I need the health pool. I need something to kind of draw the fire and not be vulnerable to dying immediately. Is kind of the big thing that I'm worried about. Also, yeah, that's my level 8 that's due to reach its level 9. I think this Aurora is the one about to reach level 10 or close to. So, this is as ideal as I want there. We'll see how this goes. I'm the attacker on the breakthrough this time, so this kind of favors me a little bit better. I want to argue, because I can dance around him there. I may have trouble getting the last beacon, or the last 2 beacons in the middle, if he wants to commit to that route, to just staying passive and forcing me to come to him, but otherwise I do have torpedoes to kind of help make that easier for me, considering how difficult they are to shoot down anyway. So that may not be a concern. I just gotta be mindful of making sure I can hit these beacons with as many torpedoes as possible if I'm gonna try and play a little more safer. Because the ultimate goal, of course, with that is it keeps his fleet alive there, and I'm kind of dancing around and trying to play as Eldar should be playing ideally. So this should be pretty good here. My layout, well, I got a lot of open space here. It's kind of more in the middle though. There's a celestial body I can use to kind of block a couple of shots there if I'm so lucky, but this asteroid belt's not the most convenient. Yeah, I got plenty of options here. I should start on the left, maybe circle around and do like a vulture type of movement. Just keep circling around like the birds of prey that they are and wait for a window, and at the same time maybe just snipe the 1 or 2 beacons on the side here if I'm so lucky, if the opportunity presents itself. because I'm confident the Eclipses could just dive this one and maybe kill it with torpedoes, and the Auroras have the easy job of just sniping this one way off in the corner. And then after that, we'll see what happens. And the Hellborn, without a doubt, is to kind of help spot and give me some intel, so maybe I can prioritize my targets a little bit better. We're going to know pretty quickly what he's going to be utilizing, though. If he starts using Novacans, we already know what they technically are, and thankfully he can only field like 3 of them at most, so I should be okay. It's the Auroras that are still susceptible to dying, as well as this Hellborn, with that said, so I don't want to conveniently get hit by a scatter shot. Unless he's deliberately trying to shoot the Hellborn, and I am seriously considering switching out the Solar Energy Accumulator for the Void Blending, because the Salt Running, the double duration, might be more practical. Although I like to keep these things alive and get use out of them, but really it's just been dying relatively quickly, mainly because it's the poor victim that's getting boarded on by lightning strikes or even the boarding assaults, so it's not really living very long, never mind the fact that it's kind of the first one into the fray, even with the aim bonus that it gets, or was it the defense it gets at least for being a frigate, doesn't really help so much. Now, he did not ready up, so I wonder what that tells me. And we have 3 ships, so is this Novacans? It could very well be Novacans, so I just want a solid run with those that I don't want to get shot at, ideally. And we'll have him turn his attention to the Eclipses. Oh, did he go AFK? Is he already conceding? I really hope not, because he's not moving at all. Well, there go. I'm gonna get me a bunch of free experience, I guess. We'll just find out if he has extended sensors on these things or not. Nope, he does have autocannons, so... Or not autocannons, but Novacans, so it's technically the same thing. He does have a Widowmaker. So, that's good there. We're gonna start destroying these beacons, and then we'll see about dealing with him some. Although... Let's see, 1 torpedo should be all I need to kill this beacon, right? Maybe it's a bit of an assumption, but... We'll see about killing this Cobra relatively quickly. Yep, that's dead. That is dead. We'll deal with the Cobra in a moment. Actually, that's what the Aurora's job kind of is, isn't it? Now. Oh, he has an Emperor, so he is Admiral level 8. So that's good to know, I guess. Now. It does mix up his fleet composition a tiny bit, but not much. Not much there. He can't really focus prior. I only saw 1 Novacan there. Interestingly, didn't I just jam him? Okay, I was wondering why it was still visible. I was a little bit worried there at first, but that easily negates the Emperor. It is a level 10, so I guess we're gonna play a serious game here. Alright, so he did get a Novacan shot in my Auroras, even though they were hitting. So... was that a guess, or was that random scatter? I couldn't tell you. But he does have vision, that's the scary thing, so this silent run is probably not as useful as I make it sound. But we do have the means to dodge this relatively well. Until the end. Yeah, especially with him using these abilities, and that Wraithbone ship was amazing, it just stopped working at the perfect time. So, can we kill these shields? I would like to kill these shields for some really dangerous maelstroms. And, of course, my own stasis bomb's working against me some, isn't it? Oh, my Eclipse is also gaining away, so I was going to be generous, but that doesn't matter anymore. Considering we know he's a level 10 fleet. Now, let's kill his prize ship while his other ones are kind of lurking in the corner there. Now, he is jammed, so that's a benefit there. I do need the Auger Disruptor again, or this is going to be short-lived, though, with that said. Now, Novacan, this is not going to hurt. It might hurt. Okay, so yeah, I boosted preemptively, that was not required. But he is micro-warp jumping to a better spot. Or he's going to more than likely try and micro-warp jump onto me. Let's not kid ourselves. So that dodge, get moving. Hellborn especially get moving. Now, fire torpedoes because he's refusing to move. And also fire torpedoes on this other one here, because this is going to hurt. I don't have torpedoes. I fired them with the Auroras already. So I think it's safe to say this thing's dead. It goes without saying. There, that is one dead Emperor. He's making my job easy. Ooh, thank God I boosted away. That Void explosion would have sucked. No mercy there. Not to a level 10 fleet. I don't care for him. Hell, way back when there was actually a good number of people there, I thought that just playing with the level 10 fleets in a persistent mode was kind of the equivalent of bullying a little bit, because after all, how much of an advantage you arguably have there being with a level 10 fleet versus like fresh Admiral level 10s or fresh Admiral level 8s. I consider it a little bit of bullying. You just want to show off your fancy fleet there, so it's part of the reason why I never committed with my YouTube series of playing a max level fleet. Except a little bit with my Imperial Navy, which quite frankly was only what, Admiral level 6? And I was kind of expecting to have like be facing off with a lot of Admiral level or level 10 fleets. I apologize if the sentence is really messed up there, because I am trying to keep my ships alive at the same time, but I can understand why they're playing persistent mode now, because the population is not all, the player base isn't all that impressive to justify going to ranked mode, I believe, but I wasn't really fond of it then, so this is why I have really no sympathy for Admiral level 10s, even right now. Hell, feel free to enjoy killing my level 10 fleets. Oh, and that was from killing my frigate, you damn thing. Oh well, let's kill him off. I am taking a little more damage than I like, but I have jamming options available. So we are actually getting use out of this Auger Disruptor, even though his micro warp jump was not really denied very effectively. Oh, and I'm going to conveniently dodge that, so that works out well. That's dead. I'll keep the level 7 alive. I don't care for level 10s, but level 7s I'll let live. Now, let's just go on by. Well, if he tries to fight me, I might have no choice to kill it. If I had an extra Auger Disruptor, I would be committed to trying to just avoid killing it, but if he doesn't want to warp out, I guess I don't have much choice. Let's see. Okay, so the Dominator is not going to do much there. I would like to keep it alive, I really would. But, so as it stands now, we have 2 beacons still to keep alive, and I don't think he's going to allow me to just fly on over and kill it. Do we have... No, we don't have any Auger Disruptor just yet, alas, so... I was thinking maybe I could use an Auger Disruptor, but is that enough to kill it? Yep, it's dead. It might Void Explosion, mind you, but it's dead. I don't want a good game that, because I feel like he's just going to rage at me. I almost feel it coming a little bit. But it was still a fun match there, a little bit weird, because he had what? The Emperor? Maybe? No, he didn't have a Mars. Okay, I take that back. Since he was the one who did it there, who said good game, I'm willing to give him that. I was just a little bit worried about him raging at me, because I can understand the sentiment, mind you. And I am really upset that I never got to really get real practice fighting Eldar, because I would love to be able to talk about what he was doing wrong, how to improve on what he was doing there, but it's really hard for me to comment on. I really would like to give some pointers. And even then, playing my Eldar fleet, I said way back in the Championship series, because my playstyle is so different from all the other Eldar fleets who, ideally, I imagine, they just fight, they stay at max range with their pulsars and of course their bombers, being so bomber-centric, and then just falls maneuver and keep distance until the cooldowns for the bombers comes back up, ideally. Whereas me, I'm trying to get in their face, I'm trying to get aggressive, it's a lot more dynamic and a lot more frantic, I think it goes without saying. So it's hard for me to even go anywhere near commenting on how to, not even learning how to fight them. I made that comment in, was it the Championship series, that playing as Eldar has never taught me, or I haven't ever learned how to actually fight against Eldar. With that said, if they're using Auroras and Torpedo Fleet, maybe I might have some experience in that regard. But against bomber heavy fleets, probably not. Probably not, but we finally have a level 10 fleet here. And actually, let me recondition so I don't have this Void Dreamer taking up a crew slot. So, Now I have to figure out what the hell I want to put on these level 10 Auroras, because I have that option available, and we did get into a bit of a weird tangent there, so with all that dialogue and monologue I had to myself there, it almost feels like those last 5 minutes of that match was a blur to me. I completely forgot what the hell just happened. Nonetheless, what do I want to do? I can go for increased speed, increased turning radius, which sounds like as promised, but extended sensors seems like the most promising one, because more often than not, if I can't feel the Hellborn, I'm going to need something to serve as a spotter, even though technically the Auroras probably are like the worst candidate for that because of how fragile they are. We've seen how quickly in the earlier match how much they were getting screwed over just because I wasn't paying attention to the macro cannons flying at them. So they can die incredibly quick, and unlike the Hellborn, they don't have the trait to reduce accuracy of their opponents because they're frigates, so they're just as easy to hit as like a Voidstalker, more so because of the range and the tendency of me wanting to get close for effective torpedoes. But I think we'll experiment with this mainly because I'm not entirely certain what I want to do with them just yet. But even with an Emperor, those jamming with the Solid Run were actually pretty damn effective, I won't lie. So if nothing else, we are improving on the jamming. Maybe not so much for denying micro warp jump, mind you, so that's a pain in the ass.